Colleagues and friends, it's my great pleasure and privilege as the Chair of the British Medical Association UK Council to thank you for attending this year's General Assembly of the World Medical Association. It was, of course, our ambition and hope to welcome you all in person here in London. This would have been all the more special because it was here in BMA House, from where I am speaking, that the idea of creating the World Medical Association was first born in 1945 in a meeting between leaders of medical associations from different nations. However, once more, we have had to meet virtually, reflecting the resilience of the dreadful COVID-19 virus, with its new variants increasing the longevity of this pandemic, paralysing the world and afflicting the health and lives of so many. Throughout the pandemic, doctors from around the world have worked day in, day out in the most challenging of circumstances with selflessness and dedication. Many risked their own health and lives as they exposed themselves to this deadly virus. We accepted wholesale change overnight to our lives. Many doctors moved from their usual specialty to learn new skills to care for COVID patients. Working above and beyond, we showed determination and courage. We have done our duty. And while fighting the virus, it is a tragedy that too many doctors around the world have lost their lives in the course of their duties. They will be remembered and never be forgotten. However, within the past year, we have also witnessed a breakthrough in medical science, in the development of COVID vaccines anew within 10 months in what normally takes up to 10 years. It just shows what can be achieved with the collective efforts of medical researchers and scientists working across the globe, and which has brought hope to the world that there is a way through this pandemic. The pandemic also reminded us that we are one global community and that no one is safe until everyone is safe, and with new variants in one corner of the world, leaping from one continent to the next, reaching every other corner. In this spirit, I'm proud that earlier this year at our council meeting in Seoul, the WMA adopted an emergency resolution proposed by the British Medical Association, calling on the international community and all governments to urgently prioritise support and aid to nations worst affected by the COVID-19 crisis. Colleagues, this is also a time to recognise the central importance of a universal doctrine. Our Declaration of Geneva binds us. It pledges our lives to the service of humanity. It commits us to recognising the dignity of every human, irrespective of nation or border. And these principles remind us the pandemic will not end until we tackle COVID in every nation. Ensuring equitable access to vaccines in all parts of the world is not only our aspiration, but as members of the WMA, it is our responsibility. The unique strength of the WMA is more important now than ever before, bringing together medical leaders from so many countries from across the globe, to connect, establish links and friendships, to collaborate, sharing information about best practice and learning from one another, to speak out so we can protect human rights and the independence of doctors, including those threatened by their own governments, and to support one another to uphold the highest standards of medical ethics and professionalism. This is a crucial moment as governments decide whether they will be led by misguided self-interest or the global good. It is a moment that requires cooperation, solidarity and support. It is a time for all of us to hold our countries to account and inspire them to act together as one in service to the benefit of all nations, to finally pull through the pandemic together. all nations must recognise both the efforts of doctors and the toll it has taken on their lives. This has been an emergency that most governments were unprepared for, and so it was left to healthcare workers to tend to a crisis that many of us never could have imagined. This has led to a new wave of physical exhaustion and mental health issues for doctors whose well-being must now be properly supported if health services are to deal with the continuing scale of challenges ahead. On behalf of the British Medical Association, thank you once again for your commitment to the WMA. I hope that we can all be together in person at next year's General Assembly in Berlin.